Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Ari Alex and this is All Things Ari. While I have you, I would appreciate it if you like this video and subscribe to the channel and hit certain goals, y'all, all right? So do that for me, okay? For those of you who don't know, I am a live streamer on an app called Tagged, and each and every Tuesday at 11 p.m. Eastern time, I host a show called Modern Day Bae with ELLE. ELLE is my streaming persona. It's the only live stream podcast helping you navigate the modern way to find your bae. In this episode, I'm sitting down with top streamer Primetime Will, and we're discussing pretty privilege and its effects on society and one's experiences. If you've tuned into an episode of Modern Day Bae before, you already know the conversations can get pretty heated. To join the conversation live on Tuesdays at 11 p.m. Eastern time, be sure to download the Tagged app and search ELLE the Drug with 3D. In the meantime, if you want to see how this conversation went, stay tuned. Okay, so if you're just tuning in, welcome to Modern Day Bae with ELLE, a weekly show every Tuesday at 11 p.m. The only show on Tagged, helping you navigate the modern way to be bae. Hello, I'm your hostess ELLE, and Modern Day Bae is brought to you by the Scouts. So tonight's topic, y'all, let's get into it. I'm really excited. You already know. Every week I tell you we have an incredible lineup, but like we do, you know, rightfully. So this week, as my featured guest co-host makes his way to the box, I'm going to go over tonight's topic. Okay, tonight's topic question. How old? No, I don't know why how old is in there, y'all. But how does pretty privilege impact people's opportunities and experiences in society? All right. So pretty privilege, I'm going to break it down for you. All right. Now, listen, last time we had a little bit of a topic on here. Y'all didn't listen to the definition. So I'm going to need y'all to listen to the definition. All right. We're going to pull this in together. I need y'all to hear me. Okay. Pretty privilege refers to the advantages and preferential treatment that people who are considered physically attractive may experience in various aspects of life, such as social interactions, job opportunities, personal relationships. All of this simply because of their looks. It's the idea that being attractive can provide certain benefits and open doors that may not be available to others who are perceived as less attractive. Okay, so this is a real thing, all right, and this is something that we need to be aware of. A lot of the things that influence pretty privilege, include physical appearance, societal beauty standards, confidence, bias and stereotypes, media representation, social interactions, job opportunities, personal relationships. These factors collectively contribute to the concept of pretty privilege, where physical attractiveness can lead to various advantages in life. All right. During this episode, we will chat about all of this and so much more. We're going to dive in this topic with our featured guest co-host first, followed by my favorite part of the show whenever the Boss Bae panel comes up, and we have an open forum conversation about the night's topic. So before I bring him on up, I need y'all to find the wristwatch emoji. If you type in wristwatch, it'll come up, okay? Or Apple Watch, either one. So I'm gonna need you to type it in. I need to see there. Okay, period. I see Mado with it. I see Lada with the name. Okay, there we go. Period. Aquarian. Okay. I need some more. Come on, y'all. Some wristwatch. Can we spam the contact? Okay, because we can say her address. Okay. That's better. There we go. Hello. Thank you. All right, y'all. Making his way to the box. I am excited to introduce you to top badge and featured show host on the app. His show, It's Complicated, comes on every Friday night and as a recent guest on the show, let me tell you, it gets, well, complicated to say the least. Ladies and gentlemen, please put those wristwatch emojis in the comments as we welcome this week's featured co-host, Primetime Will. How you doing, my man?
What up? Appreciate you having me on the show. Appreciate you also doing my show last week.
Of course, you already know. It was fun. We had fun on that show. That was a good one. All All right, so before we get started, I like the people to know who they're, listening to and all that. So why don't you go ahead and tell the people who you are and what to expect in your stream?
Yeah, like she said, It's Complicated. It's a featured banner show on here, Friday, 7 o'clock Eastern. It's about streaming, dating. You know why it's complicated. Be a bunch of different guests that, come up on this show, talk about their dating and streaming experiences. So, that's what usually I got going on here.
Period. And I just like to do a little bit of background. So how long have you been streaming on Tag Prime?
I've been streaming for like 2 years now, and I've been doing my show for a year.
For how long? A year?
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay. You ever miss a week or no?
Yeah, probably like a couple weeks here and there, yeah. Like,
okay. No, I would just want, because today I woke up, I was like, woo, Lord, I don't know if I'm gonna make it, but I was like, I have to, it's the feature, so I don't know, I didn't miss any yet. I'd be a little bit scared, so. Okay, so do you have any streaming goals you'd like the people to support you on?
Streaming goals? Nah, not really.
Not really? You reached everything. He said, I got the show, I got the badge, it is what it is, baby.
I just don't network and meet new people.
Period. And if y'all are ever interested in being on his show, hit him up, pop in his stream, okay? Because the show is fun. All right, my good sir. In one word, what characteristic is most important in your modern day bae?
Brains. She gotta be smart. I don't want no dumb female now. I can't do that.
No dummy. Okay, and I'm glad you clarified, because when some people say brains and it's like, well, what are you talking about? We need you to be specific, you know what I'm saying? So that wasn't like a double entendre. You mean she needs to be smart, right?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. All right, y'all. If you're just tuning in, welcome to Modern Day Bae with ELLE, a weekly show every Tuesday at 11 p.m. It's the only show on Tag navigating the modern way to be bae. I'm your hostess, ELLE the Drug, and Modern Day Bae is brought to you by the Scouts. So, did you look over the questions, Will?
No, not really.
Hey, yo. All right, did you hear the definition of pretty privilege?
Yeah, I did. I heard the definition of it.
Okay, are you familiar with it? Like, is this something that you've talked about or whatever, throwing the concept around with your friends before,
No, not really.
Not really? Okay, so this will be a fun conversation. Hopefully we'll both learn a little bit about it and have a better idea of what it is and how it works in society too. So, all right, so my first question for you is, what are some specific examples of how pretty privilege can influence a person's interactions and opportunities? So if we're thinking about pretty as being something that's advantageous, here, we can even think about it in terms of on Tag, right? I've heard a lot of people say, a lot of guys say, if I'm being honest, women can just go live. They don't really have to do anything. They can just go on live and people will be in their stream. They're going to get the faves. You know what I mean? There's that idea of a privilege, to women, because this is a dating app and people come in based on how you look and things like that. So what are some examples that you can think of how pretty privilege can influence a person's societal interactions and opportunities?
Wait, on here or just in general?
You can do on here if you want to. We're all in Tagged World, so you can talk about it on here. But if you think about other stuff too, you can say in general.
It's for girls only, not for guys?
What'd you say?
It's for girls only. The pretty privilege is for girls only?
No, I knew you were going to say that, bro. I don't know how, but I knew. I was like, he's going to be like, this is all about the girls. No, okay?
Okay, so this is including guys too. Guys.
Yeah, okay, because you think about it. It's physical features. So a lot of times guys that are tall have an advantage, right? That height.
That's what they say. I don't know.
That's what they say. You don't know.
That's what they say. They do say that, yeah.
If you were to stand next to, how tall are you?
6'3".
If you were to stand next to a dude that's 5'9", and y'all both were interested in the same girl, what you know what I mean? So that's that privilege, right, of being tall, and it's not anything that you did to get it.
They both have the same opportunity to me. We both got the same opportunity, yeah. Just because I'm taller than him? Nah.
Okay, well, we can't be in denial, okay? We have to be honest here, okay?
I don't think being taller. I don't know.
All right. Well, what are some of the other things like that you can think of? Okay, so like I gave height. You disagree with me, but I still am gonna stick by that. I know I like tall people, so you know what I'm saying. But what are some other things? So like, what would attract? Like, what do you think like would help someone stand out based on physical attraction?
If their body looks right, like if they, take care of their body,
If their body looks right, hello. If they take care of their body, if they had money to get their body done, absolutely. That's
facts. Yeah,
right. That's a privilege because not everybody has access to that money to get it. You know what I'm saying? Nice. Okay, but see, so Casper in the audience is saying, Sassy said beard gang, and I have to agree with you, Sassy. Good one. Casper said a nice booty. Casper said nice hair. And so whenever we think about nice booty, nice hair, we have to think about what nice hair is, right? Because a lot of times whenever we think of nice hair, we're not talking about, like, let's just be honest. Whenever we talk about it, I'm not saying it's true, but whenever people say the term nice hair, they're oftentimes not talking about black people, right? They're not talking about black hair, right? And that's just like,
black women.
So, but like that would go into the privilege, right? Because the beauty standard is like silky, straight, wavy hair. You know what I'm saying? So like someone who may have an afro oh, no, I don't, you know what I mean? That could go, especially, I'll tell you when that's relevant, in employment opportunities. You go in with straight hair versus a fro, you're more likely to get the job. That would be the privilege, right? You see what I'm saying here? You think that's cap, Casper? Yes, Casper agrees. I'm crying. All right, y'all. So,
what job you trying to get?
What'd you say?
It could depend what kind of job you're trying to get.
It would depend, but like if we're talking about a professional setting, or if we're talking about like working for a corporate job, 9 times out of 10, you're more likely to have to subscribe to what's palatable, what people can take in, so that they don't misjudge you, or so that you actually get the opportunity that you set out to get. You get me? Yeah. The stereotype. What stereotype, Aqua? I want to know what you're talking about. Okay, so let me see what question I can ask you. Okay, so if we're thinking about this, right, if we're thinking about pretty privilege, are there any potential downsides you can think of or challenges associated with privilege, with pretty privilege? So like, what could be bad about having privilege, or about privilege existing?
They're not pretty no more.
What'd you say?
What's going to happen when they're not pretty no more?
That part. What's going to happen when they're not pretty anymore? They're not going to know what to rely on. They don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a big part of it. One of the things that I think of is, say there's 2 people, right? And one has privilege and one doesn't. So the person that has the privilege gets all the opportunities and is able to, get the job they want, get the relationship they want easier. Not necessarily just able to get it, but they're able to get it more easily. And so that must make, right, if something is super easy for somebody, on the person dealing with the opposite effects of it, the person that doesn't have it, it's probably like twice as hard for them. You know what I mean? So that's one of the downfalls, that's one of the downfalls that I can think of, as well as like, unfairness, straight up just unfairness, right? That can lead to, discriminatory practices. And the thing that's interesting about pretty privilege, and I think we'll talk about this more whenever the Boss Bay panel comes up, but the thing that's really interesting about pretty privilege is, you can have it in one situation and not the other. So what you were saying, Will, about like, oh, what happens when you're not pretty anymore? It doesn't even have to be like a long time. You could literally go from one room to another and then not be the prettiest person there. And then you start to feel like, bad, like, oh dang, I'm not getting the attention that I'm used to, or oh, I'm not. So it can actually give you a false sense of reality, in some cases, in some scenarios. Which I think is really, really interesting. So let's see here. What I'm gonna say this. Have you personally witnessed or experienced instances where pretty privilege played a role?
What do you mean by play a role? Like for me?
It could be for you, it could be for someone that you were around, it could be like, you know what I mean? Even if you seen like, even if you was around one time whenever one of your homeboys like bagged a girl, like, you know what I mean? It was like, oh, that was mad easy or something like that. Like just anytime.
The bad girls is getting in for free at the clubs and parties. We letting in the girls that
Ew. Why you have to? Why you gotta use that one?
Hey, huh?
I said, why you gotta use that one? Yeah, that is a privilege, right? Not having to pay to get into the club.
Right there at a club, you know what I mean? If you having a party, yeah, the pretty girls they not paying for that.
Very true. Very true. That was a good example. Yes, y'all. So, whenever, some people don't have to wait in line, okay, to get in. You can't even get in. Why you outside?
Or sometimes the pretty privilege could switch. Like, say you with a girl when y'all younger, she the prize, she pretty. And, like, everybody wants her. Now y'all older.
Right.
Now the table's flipped. He the prize.
Right.
He the one all the girls want. Nah, I mean, who's it going to be the problem for?
For sure. So, like, and you witnessed that personally? Like, did their behaviors change? What'd you say?
Yeah, I do be seeing that all the time.
Do you think that people, when they figure out that that their looks might get them places, that they act a little different? Like, oh, that glow up happened. Now she acting different, or now he acting different.
For sure. Because they're not going to be like, oh, I don't want this pretty privilege. I'm going to just pay to get in the club.
Okay. Sassy said yes.
They're not gonna say that they want to pay to get into the club. Nah.
Well, and then it also, like I said, it becomes like an expectation, right? Like, what? We're not going there. You have to pay tonight. You know what I'm saying? What? You know what I mean? So, yeah, good stuff. All right, y'all, if you're just tuning in, welcome to Modern Day Bae with Elle, a weekly show every Tuesday at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, and the only show on tag navigating the modern way to find your bae. I'm your hostess, Elle the Drug, and Modern Day Bae is brought to you by the Scouts. Hello? All right, well, so I do have a hot seat question for you, okay? As the Boss Bae panel makes their way to the box, it's time for the hot seat question. Each week I ask the guest co-host a tricky question about the night's topic to see how they answer. So your hot seat question is, what is your perspective on pretty privilege and how it affects the world of streaming?
How it affects the world of streaming?
Yes.
Well, this is like sort of like the strip club. So if you're pretty, then they gonna spend a bag on you. If you're not, you better be funny, make some content. You better do something. That's all I can say. But yeah, that's the pretty privilege on here. Facts. That's for guys and girls though.
You said what?
That's for guys and girls though. They're not gonna go to somebody who's looking all raggedy, who don't take care of themselves, versus they can go to somebody who looking like they got their stuff together. You know? They got their hygiene right, all of that. You know.
For sure. Do you think that like it might be easier to get like a top badge or a featured show if you are prettier or better looking?
It probably could be. I mean,
without even them knowing, like, oh yeah, we like her, but you don't, you know what I mean? They might not even realize that would play a part into it, but yeah, for sure, right? They want people that are looking a certain way so that it attracts people to the app, for sure. So, good answers, super, super good answers. You can't be pretty with bad content. I'm crying.
Yeah, they could have a bad attitude, you know what I mean? And now they kind of ugly because the attitude outweighing the pretty privilege, yeah.
Right, and so that's one of the things too, right? Because if you base it on like looks, or if you're like, oh, she's pretty, so I'll maybe adjust my boundaries, or oh, he looks good, so I'll adjust my boundaries. Now you up here accepting things that you don't need to accept because someone's cute, and they're not even going to be cute to you after you learn their attitude. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's facts. Good stuff. All right, where's my Boss Bae panel? I don't see anybody requesting the box. Where's my Susie? Where's my Callie? I need y'all here. Hello? All right, y'all. So Excuse me. We are just coming into the Boss Bay panel segment. I know Susie was in here. I saw her. I don't know where she went. But as they make their way to the boss, we are in here talking about pretty privilege and about its effects on society and opportunities. One of the things that I think was really, really cool that we pointed out was how it can literally be about a job, it can be about a relationship, it can come down to your physical traits, which we're going to get into in a little bit. So, yeah, I'm excited about it. We're just kind of, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to let my boss space get up here. I didn't see Callie in here, to be honest with you. But, Susie! I don't know what happened. I saw her come in here. So, what we will do is we will start with the first question, and we can go back and forth a little bit. And then, of course, anybody that has anything to say, please answer the questions in the comments. If there's something that you really want to say, feel free to box up, okay? So the first question is, can pretty privilege impact self-esteem and self-worth in the context of dating and relationships? Oh, hold on, I'm reading my question. And oh, look who we've got. We've got Casper coming up here. Casper, you gonna be a boss bae this week?
I mean, you know, I felt like the opportunity was too good to pass up, so I'll be a boss bae. I am a red bone, so I'll be a boss bae today.
Is that a piece of pretty privilege, being a red bone?
Man, it ain't easy. It ain't easy. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't gonna slide down easy if it ain't cheesy. So yeah, you know, I'm just a boss bae.
Come on,
today.
Susie.
Yeah, we up.
You watch that YouTube reviews too? That lady?
I love her. Everybody's so creative.
Now you watch her too. That's crazy.
Boy, I watch all her videos.
I'm crying. I know exactly who you're talking about. She be cracking me up when she be like, "See how it looks like this, but it's not."
Right? Did you bake it for 338 days?
Funny. If y'all don't know what we're talking about, we'll tell you after the show. All right. Hello, my friend. How are you? Welcome, Susie B.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I was just starting to ask the question, but since y'all both popped up, Casper, do you want to introduce yourself since you did an impromptu pop-up, and then we can go into Susie?
Yeah, everybody, you know, my name is Casper, the disaster that is Casper. You can catch me here and there. I got a feature show on Mondays, Geek Out. I also got new content coming up on Sundays, his and hers. It's going to be a dope show. We ironing out some things, but it's going to be lit. Make sure you slide through. This Sunday, it's going to be in Top Badge, what's her name? Elle? Top Badge Elle's life. So make sure you stop by. It's going to be great. Other than that, you can catch me whenever. If you're looking for somebody to do something, hit up Primetime Will, because he do it all. Other than that, that's it.
All right, my friend, go ahead.
Hey, y'all. You know what it is. It's me. It's your girl, Be Back Harley. Real quick, Bingo will be coming back. Sorry about the delay. Life was lifing. Also, keep your eyes on my Instagram. There is some super great content coming up from the Scouts and Big Bad Productions, and you are not going to want to miss that.
Yay! All right, awesome. I saw Spicy Racha ask in the comments if she was pretty enough to get a bookshelf from IKEA built and delivered. I think that's the question for you, Casper, but we can
just a second. Let me check out the profile picture. Give me just a second. Lord have mercy. Yes, ma'am. We will be able to deliver that. Yes, we can deliver that. We can deliver. Pretty privilege has struck again. Boy, I might even buy it for you with that one. Yes, ma'am. We can work that out. Let me know when you're ready.
Yes, ma'am, we can work it out. All right, bet. Okay, y'all, so let's get into the question I read right before everybody boxed up, which is, can pretty privilege impact self-esteem and self-worth in the context of dating and relationships? So basically, I want to know what can affect someone's... Yep, I want to know what I asked. I'm going to read it again, unless y'all need me to break it down. Can pretty privilege impact self-esteem and self-worth in the context of dating and relationships? Susie, we can start with you, and we'll go in reverse order to Casper, then Prime.
I'm going to say yes, just because obviously pretty privilege is based off of physicality. So that's to me, that's the number one thing. It's based off what a person sees, not necessarily how they interact with you or if their energy matches yours. So it could totally affect esteem and confidence while trying to date or even within a relationship, especially if a person is always, being compared to Instagram or societal beauty standards, or, the person that they're with has this image of short, light skin, thick, like those type of things do contribute. And a lot of times it's just subconscious conversation we're having, but energy doesn't lie. So you can obviously tell a person who is more passionate about this type of form or this type of physicality versus what they actually have. And that can be reflected. So I do feel that it can affect esteem. It can affect a woman and a man in their dating, how they want to date, or how they view themselves when they are attempting to enter into a dating pool.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things I want to point out that you said is energy, right? Like people may be focused on you due to your physical features rather than your energy and your vibe. And I think that's really important, because that energy, especially when it comes to dating, is one of the things that you use to see if you have chemistry. And also, like, whenever you go based on physical, you're more likely to present a misleading energy. Does that make sense? So, like, the energy might not be what it should be. It might be forced, or it might be looser, and then almost like love bombing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna give you because I think you're pretty, and I think you're pretty, and even loosening up your boundaries and things because of the physical attraction. I mean, I've certainly done it before. I spoke about it before in season 1 on an episode. I think Whenever Goes Pressure, now Top Badge Goes Pressure, was on it. So interesting. Thank you for that. What about you, Casper? Do you want me to read the question again?
If you would.
Can pretty privilege impact self-esteem and self-worth in the context of dating and relationships?
I'm going to say yes, but I'm going to come from a different perspective.
Okay.
So I feel like the pretty privilege does affect it, but in a different way. I feel like, you have certain, I guess I'm going to come from that angle because it's me. You feel me? I feel like when certain ladies enter into a relationship and they got the pretty privilege, they have unrealistic expectations. Like they just expect to do things because of how they look, or they just expect the man to give them things because of how they look, and they don't, and you always, like locker room talk, when the fellas be talking, what I'm saying, it's always like, man, what I'm saying, like she just, like she just thinks she deserved this, or she just think that she gonna get this. And then also the prettier girls, in my opinion, locker room talk, they don't do as much stuff, what I'm saying, so they don't do all these things that maybe somebody who doesn't have the pretty privilege will do. Like some pretty girls they feel like they above certain things. Like, I'm not gonna do that. That's I'm just not gonna do that. Like that's beneath me.
Like what, Casper?
You want me to go into details about certain things they ain't gonna do? Because I can, what I'm saying. I'm trying not to be the enemy.
I didn't know if you had something. I didn't know if you had something in mind. That's all.
I mean, what I'm saying, like, oh boy, here we go. So I feel like my boy Aquaman, his name is Aquaman, just said, like, taking out the trash. I mean, like, I feel like, we talk so much about gender, and we didn't have this on one of Elle's previous shows, but to stick with the topic, I feel like, if you have somebody with pretty privilege, they ain't taking out no trash. They don't care. They let the trash stack up 4 bags before they take it out, because it's just beneath them. Like, what I'm saying, they just ain't finna take out no trash. You feel me? It's just certain things they ain't gonna do. Like, they might not go inside and get their own food. If you with them, they not finna buy no food. Like, if y'all riding and we pull up, they just looking at you like, when you gonna pull out your car, because they ain't finna buy nothing. Like, they with you. Look how I look. I'm not finna buy my own food. I'm with you. You buy my food. And so it's just certain things that they just expect, And for me, I don't have a problem doing anything, but what I do have a problem with is when you expect it. Like, I've had a relationship with somebody where I was dating them, and they had kids, and they wasn't my kids, and I would do for them because I was dating her. But then it became expectations. Like, the kids out of Pampers, and it's like, why you ain't bought them Pampers? Like, them ain't my kids. I don't mind helping you, but you don't expect me to do things. You feel me? Like, if I do it, it needs to be out of the kindness of my heart. These ain't even my kids. You feel me?
Yeah.
But I'm trying to help. So yeah, it's just like a sense.
Now, do you think that was related to the privilege, or because you set the expectation? Just real quick.
No, because I feel like you shouldn't ever expect somebody to do things that they aren't obligated to do. Woo, thank you. I'm finna start preaching. You should never expect somebody to do things that they are not obligated to do.
That's true.
Y'all get ready to pass the. I'm preaching today. Let me live.
Well, what do you think? Can pretty privilege impact self-esteem and self-worth in the context of dating and relationships?
Affect self-esteem, like for the person that's pretty or for the person that's not pretty?
Both.
The person that's
However
not
you
pretty,
wanna
they
go
gonna have
towards
to
it.
either get themselves together, and the person that's pretty, they better hope they stay pretty.
And that was summed up lovely by Primetime Will. No, I agree. Like, okay, so I think pretty privilege
Pretty
definitely
do pay bills
impacts
sometimes.
self-esteem and self-worth, right? So if you have that privilege and you're used to being the center of attention, or you're used to being the pretty or the eye of the, I don't know, however you want to say it, of course your self-esteem is going to be higher. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you're used to getting compliments. You're used to people looking at you. You're used to whatever it is, like you're used to it. Just like Casper said, you're going to be used to a certain lifestyle, a certain behavior, and that doesn't mean, right, that that's the end all be all and that everyone's going to just treat you like that. But there are certain people that will, and a lot of the people, if it's like someone that a lot of people, a pretty that a lot of people see, then that would be something that they would get used to. And it's almost like I even said that earlier when Will and I were talking by ourselves, that could absolutely lead to like a false sense of reality, right? Like where you're just expecting all of these things. And then what happens, what he said, whenever you don't have it anymore, right? You're expecting something that you're not going to get. And now your self-worth is going to it's going to pummel. It's going to pummel.
Facts.
You feel me? So let me see what Midwest said. She said earlier, you'll need to play Christina Aguilera. I'm crying. Midwest said earlier, I'm so glad that I don't get caught up in that, what did your comment say? I'm so glad that I don't look at the next one. So Midwest said, like, she was implying in the comment that, like, the pretty privilege can't have that much power if you don't compare, which I think is a really great point, and that's kind of in my wrap-up, so we won't get into that just yet. If you're just tuning in, welcome to Modern Day Bae with Elle, a weekly show every Tuesday at 11 p.m. and the only show on tag navigating the modern way to be bae. I'm your hostess, Elle. This is brought to you by the Scouts. Everywhere you see that green and yellow symbol, my name, Casper's name, Susie's name, you already know what it is. Hello? All right, so I do have a few more questions for us. The first one is, in what ways might pretty privilege contribute to unrealistic expectations or standards in the dating world? I feel like we just kind of went over this, but I don't know. Do y'all have anything to add or elaborate on? I feel like we talked about how it could lead to unrealistic expectations. I just said that. You have anything to add?
I do got something to add.
What's up?
I preach this a lot, and you tune in to Casper one-on-one, also his and hers. I preach about it a little bit. I tell my fellas all the time, do not start at a pace you can't keep. If you know you only got crispy chicken sandwich money, no matter how pretty she is, don't be trying to take her to the Brazilian steakhouse because you know you only got crispy chicken sandwich money. You're going to lose your status as that guy. You feel me? So don't start out at a pace that you can't keep, regardless of how cute she is, regardless of how bad she is. You have to do what you do, because if you start out with them crispy chicken sandwiches, when you take her to Applebee's, you done leveled up. You feel me? Take my advice. Do not let the prettiness make you a sucker. You feel me? Like, take her to Wendy's if that's all the money you got. If she really rocking with you, she'll eat them crispy chicken sandwiches, because when you level up, you can take her to Applebee's more often. Maybe even take her to Chili's.
So Casper missed last week's episode when Hefe advised y'all to get your money up first. Okay? And we're going to go with that piece of advice instead of this one.
No, I don't think that, because I don't feel like that I should be ready-made to get you. I feel like sometimes I need you to go through the struggle with me so we both can reap the benefits when I get there. If you only want to get with me when I'm ready-made, then really you don't deserve to be with me when I'm living it up. You feel you need to go through the struggles with me.
I think if you want an angel, you have to make it heaven.
No, I feel like some of the best angels went through hell.
Who?
Because they
became the devil.
Struggle. No, some people make it out.
The devil. I can't.
But I mean, just like the hood, some people make it out the hood. You feel me? Like some people make it out.
Y'all make sure y'all
I need to be ready, man.
Make sure y'all tune in Sunday at 9 p.m. for his or hers. Okay, clearly we don't.
I'll be the villain in that thing. As y'all can see, I'll be the villain.
Okay. All right. Cool. So let's go into the next question then. How can society become more aware more aware of and address the issue of pretty privilege in dating and beyond. What you think? I'll start with you, Susie. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
For sure. I said, how can society become more aware of and address the issue of pretty privilege in dating and beyond?
That's a really hard question. It kind of, it's layers and levels to that, especially for society. I feel like we would just have to do away with the beauty standard. How that works was, and the people who are defining that level of beauty in society, number one. And then it also comes back to self. You really do have to know yourself and spend time with yourself to not be able to be affected by those standards from society, but also to not let it affect yourself, because of course we know it's not going to change anytime soon. So that's something that you're going to have to face, but you can also be comfortable with yourself so it doesn't affect you or your esteem while you're trying to date and find a suitable partner.
I love that. I love that. I love how you tied in the societal standards aspect. I think that's a really important piece, and I'll wait to speak mine, but great job, friend. What about, I'm going to go with Will next. Will, what about you? How can society become more aware of and address the issue of pretty privilege in dating and beyond?
I think, I don't know about that. I think the pretty people will have to stand up for the ugly people.
You know what? That's literally what privilege is. That's literally how you approach it, right? Like, it's a lot of times when we think of privilege, it's kind of a hard concept to explain, but essentially it's like an umbrella, right? So if say you have an umbrella and you're in the rain, right? And you're out there in the rain, you have an umbrella, so you're not getting wet. The person next to you is, though, right? They don't have their umbrella. They didn't have it. It didn't work, whatever. It's not working. So like the privilege itself is having the umbrella and not getting wet in the rain, right? So if you're able to take your umbrella and move over and have the person stand under it with you, now you have extended your privilege to the people around you to make it better, to make it easier, and to make life more livable. And ultimately, that's what you need to work through the system in this country. You know what I'm saying? You need to have people who have access give it to people who don't. So that was actually, I know it was simple. Your answers be real quick and real easy, but that's actually very true. So good job. All right, Casper, what do you think? How can society become more aware of and address the issues of pretty privilege in dating and beyond?
All right, so this is what I think, and this gonna come from a place from my heart, ladies, and I want you to understand this when I say it. The way that the world can become more aware is if men stop simping. You feel me? Once men stop simping, then the pretty privilege won't really be worth it no more. And so these fellas out here, you got to stop. Just because she pretty don't mean you got to do all the stuff you be doing, because that perpetuates the problem. You got to tell her, look, I know you cute, but you ain't gonna get no Brazilian steakhouse tonight. You can't get no crab legs. Tonight is just gonna be White Castle. And if you too good for White Castle, maybe you need to go back to your mama's house. You feel me?
Why do we keep having to use fast food? Why? Can it be
food is a big thing. It's a lot of pretty women who use men for free meals. Okay, I'm just gonna put it out there. A lot of pretty women and use men. I done got used for a free meal before. Like, you go for the meal, and then when the meal over, she be trying to run home quick. We can't even have no, you don't even want to talk about it or nothing. You just gonna wipe your mouth and leave? I ain't even paid the check, and you already trying to bounce? A lot of women use men for free meals. So I feel like food is always a good example of pretty privilege. The pretty girls get a dude, he got maybe low self-esteem, or he been trying to get at her, and she don't get paid for another 3 days. Let me call up Casper and see if he'll take me out to Red Lobster tonight. You know what I'm saying? He really want me. You feel me? That's that pretty privilege. But if the guy stops simping, he just be like, no, we ain't gonna do that.
So, surprisingly, I do agree with you to a certain extent. To a certain extent.
I know.
No.
Tune into his and hers where Casper is always right. Yeah.
You weren't right this Sunday. Please don't. Dr. Chabelle is here. Okay. Don't have me get her. Okay. No, but To a certain extent. To a certain extent. I think that he said something really interesting. He said you may find a guy that has low self-esteem, right? He said you may find a guy that has been trying to bag her for a little while. And right then and there, I need y'all to understand, this is why understanding pretty privilege is so important. This is why I saw Midwest say it earlier, self-love is so important, because you need to have boundaries. When dating in general, in life in general, and when dating, but you need to have boundaries. And if your boundary is, I'm not taking her on to a steakhouse for the first date, then that's what you need to stick by. Because you're going to end up, like Casper said, setting a false expectation, and you're going to end up doing more damage to yourself than you would, than just being honest in the first place. Smooth said, yep, self-discipline is a must. Exactly. And a lot of times, we'll do another episode on boundaries, but a lot of times people think that we set boundaries to keep people out, but in reality, we need to set boundaries to keep our peace in. So if your peace is paying for a 4 for 4 and not a steakhouse, then that's what you need to stick to, baby. So I do agree with Casper on that piece. Good job. Good job. You still need mute, Susie?
No, and we also going to talk about, because a lot of men out here do make the mistake of losing their status because they do it. Else, we're going to talk about how you regain your status. I think that'd be a great, how do you regain your status once you lose it, once you do sink out? How do you regain it?
Once you lose what status? What are you talking about?
Maybe that's another time. We'll talk about that. We just going to stick with pretty quick. But it's, it's great topics coming up in my mind right now. Woo. Yes, Lord. Thank you. Okay, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. All right, y'all. Okay. So... we are now coming to a close in the show. If you're just getting here, you did miss a pretty good episode, if I do say so myself. We're talking about pretty privilege. This is Modern Day Bae. We do it every week here at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. It's brought to you by the Scouts. So if you missed this week, that's okay. Come back next week. And lucky for you, I do upload the videos to YouTube. So you will see this episode this Friday on YouTube as well, okay? We are right at about 9 minutes now till, so why don't we have the Boss Bae panel go ahead and do a little outro and tell the people where they can find them. Prime, you're going to stay here for just a few more minutes, but go ahead, Casper, you can tell the people where they can find you, and then Bucks down, and then Susie can go.
I got a question for you, too.
Oh, hold on.
I'm going to go ahead and get out the way. My name is Casper. I had a great time.
Hold on, Cass. Hold on.
Oh, I thought I was going to do my outro.
I know, me too. Question. Prime, is your question for, the panel? Do you want the panel?
What about the ugly people that think they in the pretty privileged category? Because they not getting it be some ugly people that think they supposed to get the pretty girl privilege, and they not bad enough to get these privileges, okay? They don't deserve none of the pretty girl privileges.
This is taking a turn.
There's a lot of them that think they do. If you ask them what they think they is on a scale of 1 to 10, they gonna all say a 10. They can't all be Beyonce.
So I think that here we have to really understand that perception is reality, right? And your perception may not be their reality, and their reality may not be your perception. But that's okay, because the people that you find attractive, you just need to make sure the people that you find attractive, you're not loosening your boundaries or giving them that extra for just because of their physical attributes.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a whole nother topic right there. That could be a whole nother topic right there.
Yeah, because that's, I don't know. I don't want to touch that. I really don't. All right, Boss Bae panel, Casper, the boss of the Boss Bae panel, go ahead and...
Oh, yeah, I had a great time. Everybody, make sure you tune in this Sunday, because as you see, when we start the healthy debate, I call it get real good. So y'all tune in this Sunday. Me and Elle will be going at it again. You feel me? New topics. It's going to be hot. His or hers. That's on Sunday. If y'all enjoy what you see, tune in, man. We having a good time. Other than that, I had a good time tonight, and shout out to the City Boys.
The City Boys are still down, okay? Susie!
Thanks for having me on the show. I really enjoyed tonight's episode. Great perspective. Shout out to the co-host, Primetime Will. Shout out to our host, Top Badge Elle Drug. And make sure that you hit me with the fave. Bingo will be coming back, guys. And I will have upcoming content. Look out for flyers and opportunities to get in, because y'all know the hood way is the only way. And we like free dining.
Period. Shout out to the panelists. All right, y'all. So it is, time for my final thoughts. Each and every week, I give you my final thoughts on the topic at hand. This week is no different. Navigating pretty privilege can be both empowering and challenging. Here are some tips to help you navigate the complex aspect of life. Self-reflection. Reflect on your own privilege and acknowledge it. Okay? Understand that understand that doesn't define your worth, and it's essential to be humble about the advantages you may have, all right? 2, develop a strong sense of self. Focus on developing your self-esteem, your self-worth, and your self-confidence. Be mindful of stereotypes, all right? Stereotypes are heavily influenced by the media. They're heavily influenced by beauty standards. If your beauty standard is lighter skin and silky hair, you may need to reflect on that, okay? that may not be this, that isn't the standard, right? That doesn't need to be the standard of beauty. So think about that. Also, when it comes to size and things, right? Acknowledging like, oh, I'm a straight size, so I might have this privilege, or all of the things, right? You just have to reflect on it. Be authentic and embrace your authenticity. Advocate for equal treatment. Like Will said, the pretty people got to stand up for the ugly people, okay? The swans got to stand up for the ugly ducklings. It is what it is. Build a support network. Keep people around you to stay realistic and to stay grounded. And finally, empower others, right? By giving them this knowledge, letting them know, maybe talking about your experience, maybe being vulnerable and sharing your story with folks, but, advocate for others, and empower them, with your knowledge. So also, I want y'all to remember that pretty privilege, like any form of privilege, should be used responsibly and with empathy. It's about recognizing the advantages you have and striving for a more equitable world where everyone's worth is not determined by their appearance, all right? So, as DJ Rich Beats makes his way back to the box, I want to thank our co-host this week, Primetime Will, for being here tonight and sharing your time and insight with us. Will, thank you. Go ahead and do an outro. Let the people know where they can find you and what you've got going on.
Yep, so Primetime, I go live randomly, I'll be stand-up live streamer. I got a show on here, feature banner show on Friday, 7 o'clock Eastern. It's about streaming and dating, why it's complicated. Different various guests get on, share their experiences about streaming, dating, whether they single, married, divorced, poly, all of that. So, that's really what I got going on, and I appreciate you for having me on the show, Miss E. Appreciate you doing my show as well, you know what I mean?
No problem at all. Make sure y'all fave up the co-host. You can go ahead and box down Will. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I'm going to bring up Rich Beats as I do my outro, y'all. I am so glad I got this mouse. Y'all can't tell me Nathan. All right? Y'all can't tell me nothing. Hello? All right, y'all. Yeah. That is the show. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Modern Day Bae with ELLE. A special shout out to tonight's featured co-host, Primetime Will, our panelists, Susie B. and Casper, and of course, my DJ Rich Beats, and tonight's media sponsor, Tawag CEO. Hello? I'd also like to give a big thank you to the Modern Day Bae production team, including Rich Beats, King Aquarian Soul, Callie, Susie, Banks, Nato, excuse me, I am so sorry. I think that's everybody that is in the chat. Okay, so make sure to meet me back here next week at 11, y'all. Next week at 11, I'm Elle the Drug. And remember, you can change the world by simply being yourself. Have a good night.